This is a conversation with the legendary producer John Cunningham. He produced hits for XXXTentacion, Halsey, Ye, just to name a few. He was our mentor this week of this recording at LAAMP, the Los Angeles Academy of Artists and Music Production, which I'm attending. Just some context on this conversation before you just hear random gibberish. Basically, the way it works is you have a mentor come in, Tor from Stargate will interview them, and essentially they'll come back Tuesday. So this was my pod for the week, my group. I was the producer. We also had a writer and then an artist. This was kind of that dynamic, and I was super geeked and super gracious to have John in the room. His perspective is so unlike many people in the business, which I really loved and respected and gained a lot from. And I hope you get a lot from this as well. So once again, this is John Cunningham, just a conversation that we had in the pod. I wanted to share with you, and I hope he doesn't get mad that I was recording this. He seems I think he knew that I was recording, but I mean, if he sees this and hates it and wants me to take it down, I will. But until then, I hope you appreciate this and enjoy this as much as I appreciated him sharing the gems. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoy. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Like that. Splendid.
Yeah, splendid. Magnificent, one might say.
What's that? As a speaker?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like karaoke.
Dude, cool.
Like a little boombox, Bluetooth, and then a little mic
Nice.
action.
Oh, cool. Oh, I forgot you had the mic.
Oh, it's got a line in. Wow, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Fun.
Cool sweater.
How's your guys' day going? Oh, thanks. My favorite band.
Oh,
What band is it?
Provoker. Oh, they're so fucking good.
I've never heard their
Yeah.
stuff. We gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
So we just find today this.
Yeah, I don't play guitar. And
It's okay.
so I tried making drums
Yeah.
out of just
We were, like,
sounds.
banging.
And
Yeah.
then she wanted kind of like a zouk, kind of like reggaeton, kind of Afro beats kind of beats. It was like cool. And then we were trying to figure out the instrument, and I was like, everything needs to be. So I figured out like a bass and drums, which was fun. But then I was like, I don't know what to do instrumentally. I felt kind of limited. We could record a patch, and then none of us were like super in on that. And then we started today and kind of like went a little bit deeper on like what we want to. I was super excited to work with Maeva to try to help make something that I haven't heard from her yet.
Super.
And yeah, she mentioned some kind of like upbeat. She mentioned Drake, massive kind of like house stuff, and I was like, well, I made this beat Monday.
Wait, Massive?
Well, she's done a lot of.
Is that like a Drake song, or is that a different
Yeah.
person?
It was on
Nice
the
and
Nevermind project, the like house one.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's done a lot of more
It's
like
really good.
dance.
I don't like Drake.
Really?
No, I hate him.
Oh, okay.
I don't
I
like
do.
Drake.
No, yeah, it's not his voice. It's all. Yeah.
Okay.
But I liked old Drake a lot.
It's actually-
Yeah.
I've never met somebody else who doesn't like. I'm not even.
We're out there. We're out there. It's very few of us, but we're out
I
there.
respect him. I don't love him.
I respect-
I don't,
yeah.
I don't
Oh,
like to
super
listen to him.
respect.
Yeah.
A lot of respect.
I feel that way about Taylor.
Interesting. See, I ride for my girl, fucking T Swift, bro. She's so fucking goated, man.
She's a legend.
Maybe if
I
Drake
respect
like wrote
her
all
for
of his
that.
own shit, I would fuck with him, but he just doesn't. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what I like when
Can I-
people write their own.
I wanted
stuff.
to ask you
Yeah,
yesterday.
I think I can smell it. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you yesterday about that because you have experience working with Kanye, who
Oh,
does
yeah.
both.
Yeah.
He's very like, this is what the fuck I need. I've never worked with him, but
Yeah,
my
yeah,
read is like
yeah.
he's who he says he's gonna be, and then it's also like he'll take co-writers and 30 people's ideas
Totally,
if
yeah.
they make the song better.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate that as a producer where you work with people who are like, I only write my own shit, and then also they're open to other people? And
Yeah, I
other
mean, he's
ideas.
just a very like, in whatever medium it is, he's like a very good curator because he's very confident in what he likes and doesn't like, which could change on the day, but that's what makes it real. You know what I mean? So like, for example, he'll start a song, freestyling it. Maybe it's like 80% lyric, 20% gibberish, you know? And the only time, in my experience, that he'll ever actually like sit down and be like, okay, what are we gonna do? What are these next lines gonna be? And like not get distracted by like some phone call talking about like what cars are we gonna make or like how are we gonna build those domes or whatever. Like the only time that's ever fully happened is when it's like, okay, we're having a show tonight in fucking Miami and like we gotta play these songs. And at that point it's like, okay, this line, who's got this line? What do you think about this line? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Finishing the song, like, okay, the meat of it's there, but like finishing these lines, filling in these verses, filling in the like, you know, 2/3 of like a bridge part, he calls it homework, you know what I mean? He's like, I don't give a fuck where it comes from, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's certain people where if they were trying to write lyrics for him and he doesn't fuck with them, he wouldn't like their lyrics, but, you know, I've like, whether I'm in the room and he's like, oh, like, what should be here? And I'm like, oh, yeah, something. He'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, let me do that, you know? It's just like, if he likes it, he likes it, you know? But I did find, like, I don't know, when you were talking about artists who only write their own stuff, like, whether it's X or Halsey or fucking Nas or whoever it is, but, like, particularly X, for me was the first person that was like, nah, I need to be the only person who writes any word on anything I do ever. You know what I mean? If somebody else wrote it, they can sing it and I'll feature them, you know what I mean? But if I'm gonna be singing something, I just don't feel right if it's not coming from me. And I just really respected that, you know, and I think that's like probably a contributing factor to like why people just really felt connected to him, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So you can't like fake truth. You can't fake realness. You can't like
bars.
some people try to do it and it's like, no, it's coming from like, even if it's not the best line you've ever heard, if it's real, like that.
Yeah, or like even with songwriting, it's like if somebody's writing lyrics for somebody else to sing, it's still gonna have to be real to the person writing it, you know? The whole idea of like, we're pitching the song to somebody else or I'm gonna play this for a different artist, you know, I don't really love it, but maybe they will. I've like never had that work, not one time. Like literally never.
And if it does, it's so much less fulfilling than if it's like, I feel this, they feel it, it worked.
Yeah, dude,
and then it worked.
Like
win or lose, you still win if it's from the heart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well said. I don't know. I just think like that was something I experienced a lot in like songwriting sessions before I'm working with artists and it's people that write their own stuff. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what would they say? Like, what would they do? It's like, I remember one time it was fucking like some Nicki Minaj writing camp thing and this songwriter girl plays her stuff and it's like, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just very like shit that she's heard before. And she's like, she basically was like, girl, I'm on my 5th album. Like, what you think I need more like Nicki Minaj songs for? You know what I mean? Like, I have people come around because I want to hear what you do. Like, I want to hear your natural sensibilities. And if I like it, and if I can do something with that, great, we can work together. It's like, I don't need people to write me more songs that I could write in my sleep, you know? And I remember that a lot. I'm still trying to process the fact that I was like, I hate Drake. Yeah. It's a personal thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting you had Boy Wonder and T- and like crazy platinum Grammy award winning producers beats, and then X wanted your stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, yeah, just think about how much more interesting that is. And how much more exciting it is.
Other than the fact that you were supposed to be the A&R and like there is a really cool thing there, like what do you think attracted him to that? Without like, yeah.
So like, have you ever experienced this thing when you're writing a song with somebody, or like, let's say you're working with someone in whatever capacity, like if you have an idea and you're like, oh hey, here's my idea, you should do this. It's like not as fun compared to like, you know, almost even like trying to make that other person think that it's their idea, you know? 100%. There's some element of like a dance involved in like collaboration that I really think is important, where it's like, if you just say, this is what we're doing, you do this, I'm gonna do this, okay, ready? It's like, well, then nobody else is like attached to it, like nobody else had the original thought, you know? Dude, there's artists I work with where I'm like, I will like remake something on the spot because it's like, oh, we're both a part of this creation. Like, man, I made this beat 4 days ago, but like I know we're gonna get a better song if like something's happening right now, you know? And so I almost kind of like white lie into this world where like we're both doing this, you know? Or even like, okay, I have an idea for this lyric on this chorus, but this person really wants to like, you know, write all of their own shit, so I'm not gonna like say the line, but maybe I'll be like, oh, what if it's like something like this, or what if it has to do with that, you know? And if they go, oh, this lyric, I'm like, I love that, you know? It's a real thing. And yeah, I mean, that was definitely part of it with him. Like, again, I didn't play him beats. I didn't fucking go like, yo, bro, like, listen to my shit, you know? Mainly because it just wasn't natural to me. But like, looking back on it now, yeah, it's like that, it wouldn't have been his, you know, thing. It wouldn't have been his doing, you know? The dude, like, literally pulled me up and like pulled it out of me. And so by the time he's like pulling it out of me and he feels like he kind of discovered this person who like pretty much nobody fucking cared about at the time, it was really interesting to him. It was like, It's like when you're finding shit to sample and you find the most fire thing ever and it's got 100 plays
Right.
versus like, oh, let's go see what's on the top of the fucking charts right now and
Right.
sample that. Like, how fucking lame is that?
Sure.
It's not fun. There's nothing cool about that, you know, especially even just referencing stuff, you know. It's like nobody can take in my opinion, nobody can take an artist seriously if it's like, okay, like what's on the global top 50 right now? Let's make something like that. It's like,
Right.
really? Like that's the most original we can get right now? You know what I mean? Play some old shit. Play some unknown song. Play something that you fucking love, that you feel attached to. It's just more interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're
It's
the most
uncomfortable.
real mentor that has walked through here, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, in
Yeah.
a really good
Like,
way.
is that- okay,
no,
right,
like
right,
it,
yeah.
you were.
The
So
room
many
was
people said
silent.
how
Yeah.
impactful you were just because of like you just being straight up and the truth and like.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's just me, but like I value the
100%.
truth a lot.
Well, I do appreciate that, yeah.
I also like sorry to cut you off, but like I just wanted to say how important like what you said was yesterday, and just like I think like you kind of reminded me, and I listened back to a lot of X's album,
Right.
and just like I hadn't really listened that much before because I was younger when it came out, and I wasn't in that world of music as much, and I listened to it, and it was like really important what you said to like remind, because you know we can do a lot of things. I've been writing for other people, and like you said, like I'm like I don't know how to write for you because this isn't my story to tell,
Right.
and I've been trying like so many times in my life to write other areas, and it never works, but I was so afraid for so long of being too real, because even if I try to write something else, I never can. Like I will always
Right.
write the way that I write, even if I try, and it always fails miserably if I try to do something different than my authentic way
Yeah.
that I write lyrics and the way
Yeah.
that I write things. And I think I want you to know that like it was so impactful yesterday what you said, because I was like I knew what I needed to be doing, but it was just such an avoidance, and then
Right.
like being here and like just getting caught up in what's going on with the groups,
Sure.
being like this is what I need to do. I need to write my own shit, all of it, and that's always what I've wanted to do, and I was kind of like but I
Yeah.
just want to say thanks.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's like what, in a couple weeks this is all over?
No.
June.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, at some point, there will be no more assignments and no
Right.
more feedback and no more mentors or anything. It's like, what will you have then? You know,
Yeah.
it's not really gonna matter if like people are like, oh yeah, that shit's fire when you played it in person, but it doesn't mean anything to you. Like,
Right.
you know, a year later or something. It's like I think just being really yourself is the only way that you can actually feel like you're getting somewhere. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just
thanks,
ask?
Thanks for saying that.
Can I ask what have you learned working with Kanye?
His name's Ye, bro.
My bad. Oh.
But he would correct you if he was here. Yeah.
Interesting.
I
Is that
mean, it's legally yeah. Like
changed
the
it? That's
passport
right.
is yeah. I had
That's
to book
right.
the plane ticket. It's just first name. Yeah, that's it.
My bad.
No, it's pretty funny. But what have I learned working with him? Like speed is probably the most important thing in the world, because it's like inspiration will like fucking strike you like this, and then it just will kind of dwindle. You know, it can like have a resurgence at some point, but the idea of like, you know, part of this whole like phone thing is not only to like remove people from being concerned about quality, like recording quality, you know what I mean? To me, it's like on the bottom of the list of concerns. It's also like the top of the list of shit that AI is gonna fix for everybody. You know what I mean? It's objective, it's gonna happen. Nobody's ever gonna figure out how to like insert emotion into something or
Right.
insert like a real visceral feeling into a performance, you know? So not only is it like not caring about like, oh, that's really dope, like, okay, like now put on the headphones and like do it on the nice microphone. And,
Right.
like, oh, let me get all of this shit set up perfectly before we record it. It's like, just fucking do it.
Right.
You know what I
Let's
mean?
go.
Yeah. Everything else can get figured out later. You can always re-record it on a nice mic if you want to. You can always, but like the writing process, which for me, just so you know, it never happens like this. Never once.
What's
There's-
it like?
I mean, it's people that like I know pretty well, and it's I don't know, like just the idea of like an assignment is kind of crazy to me.
Why do you come as a mentor then? Because I
Mostly because of like what you just said, you know what I mean, or like what you were talking about. It's like I don't know. I've had, like, the first year I did it, I was kind of like, oh, did anybody really give a fuck about anything I had to say? I don't know. And then enough people were like, oh my God, thank you for, like,
100%.
saying that, which is like, I don't know, don't listen to anybody else. Don't worry about what I or fucking Stargate or anybody has to say. And it appears like that's not a normal, or not a common thing here. So if I could do that and some people are affected by it positively, not only does that, like, make me feel good, but it also just makes you feel like, okay, maybe I'm doing something good today, you know?
100%.
It's really easy to feel fucking stupid when I'm, like, making beats and, like, there's wars going on. I'm like, what am I doing? You know? But if you can, like, say something or, like, impact somebody in some type of way, then I'll feel, like, pretty good. It's also, I think, why I want to be, or why I've always wanted to just be helping other artists, you know? It's like, I get a rush out of, like, playing Gay some shit, and then he does something and he's just, like, in the best mood ever, you know what I mean? Had the worst fucking day, had the craziest phone call with his baby mama and whatever, but, like, he just went crazy on some beat, and now he's fucking laughing and feeling great, and he's like, yo, let's go to dinner, you know what I mean? It's a rush.
Yeah.
It's a real rush, you know? So
I like when you questioned Tor on kind of the producer thing. You're like, what is a producer?
yeah,
What is that? And I
no,
was
for
like, that
real.
was so real, because it's like a producer isn't just like going and da la la la. Like a producer, like the best songs when a producer is sitting there with you, like hyping you up and being
Yeah.
like, let's get this real thing that's coming out in this surge of inspiration that's immediately coming out.
Yeah, like another little anecdote. It's like when I met Bro, it's like he's at the Soho warehouse downtown, and there's a floor of people, right? Every hotel room on this floor is filled with producers and writers and other artists, and Future's there, and Ye's, and everybody's there. And I'm like, you know, playing him some of these older ideas that X9 started that I basically, like, kept hidden away for years. And finally, when he hit me, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And, you know, we go into the other room, and he's like, how did you and X make those albums? And I was like, man, not like this, you know? He's like, what you mean? I'm like, man, there's a lot of fucking people here. There's a lot of, like, gear and noise and just energy. And he's like, right? You know, and then we kept talking. He's like, you want to try, like, recording me tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I left, come back the next day with just my backpack. And he's like, where's all your shit? I'm like, what you mean? It's in my backpack, you know? And we fucking I sat on the floor, put my computer on the coffee table. I handed him the SM7. I played the beat out of the computer speakers. He's like, headphones? I'm like, you want headphones? He's like, do we need headphones? I'm like, we don't need headphones. He's like, oh, let's go. He records a bunch of shit. I'm pretty fucking quick with it because I know how it is, and, like, I get frustrated when anything takes longer than it needs to, so I'm pretty fucking nice with the engineering part. And, you know, like, 6 songs later, like, I'm telling you, it's like one beat, another beat, boom, another one, you know, and I didn't make any of these fucking beats. He already had some shit. He just wanted to see what it was like recording with me. And yeah, dude, like, after that, he's like, yo, Mike D, come in here. He's like, Mike, this is the way we doing it. He's like, this motherfucker had one speaker. You know, I pulled up with, like, kind of like that, but like a smaller T-Inch engineering one version of it. He's like, this motherfucker had one speaker. Why we need 2 speakers, bro? Why we need all this gear, bro? Look, I just made 6 songs today. I haven't made shit in 2 weeks, bro. You know? And then he was like, all right, you want to do this, bro? It's like, you want to fucking... And then, yeah, like, that's what it was for, goddamn a whole year. You know what I mean? A lot of unreleased songs that are fire, and maybe one day they'll come out. But honestly, fuck it. Like, I had a great time, and, you know, when there's maybe at the right time it'll happen again. I'm like, it's just hard to do that and also live the rest of your life. But that was one thing where I was like, oh yeah, the process of writing and recording is, to me, like, the most important thing. It's way more important than, like, the nice microphone, the nice speakers, the nice headphones, all that dumb shit, you know? Yeah.
It's so interesting. It says a lot about Ye too, to be who he is and done what he's done and be willing to get all that away. And then also a lot
Gotta
about
switch
you
it
to
up,
be
right?
willing to be in front of someone who I would imagine is someone who's inspired you.
Yeah, big
And be,
time.
and be like, yeah, I don't do it this way. It's, you know what I mean? Instead of being like, yeah, okay, all right, we'll do it that way. Like, I don't know. It's,
Yeah, why else would he ever have anybody around him? You know what I mean? Like, he could easily continue doing what he's doing with whoever he wants, but, like, don't you like meeting new people? You know what I mean?
Right.
And do you want them to, like, just become who you are? You know, like,
Yeah.
no, you want, like, to me, the coolest thing in any fucking walk of life is somebody just fully being themselves, and, like, what are you into, and, like, just be that. Don't try to dress like so and so because they're lit, or don't try to talk like that person because everybody seems to like the way they talk. It's like, just be your fucking self. You know what I mean? Like, that is the fucking thing. It really is. You know. And it's just more comfortable. You get so much more comfortable around people like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's plenty of times when I might have felt like, damn, what am I even doing here, you know? But I don't know, it kind of went away from me after like being around X. Like, he was probably the first and last person I was ever like starstruck by, you know? And you don't know, at some point you realize it's like it does not help to act different in front of anybody. It's like if you can actually just be yourself, they'll feel more comfortable, you'll feel more comfortable. And then if two people are comfortable, you could probably make great songs, you know? Not good songs that like sound good, that like sound good on speakers in there, but like great songs that people like feel shit when they listen to, you know? Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that. I really appreciate
Yeah, of course, man.
Yes, I definitely did up to what she said. It just resonated. Your whole speech. It's so cool hearing both your perspective and Tori's, because you both have achieved quote unquote success
Right.
in kind of different approaches.
Right, very.
And I think there's actually in the Venn diagram of you two a lot you have in common in the way you guys think. But it is cool hearing the way that you guys have just. I mean, everyone's different in some
Yeah,
ways.
dude,
and yet
everybody's
we're
lived
all-
different lives, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same reason like we all could hear a song right now and like 4 people react very differently to something that literally sounds identical. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you explain that? It's like, yeah, you kind of listen to a song like with your whole life behind you, you know? Everything you've heard, everything you've done, everything you felt, good, bad, all that stuff. It all plays into it, you know? Yeah.
Did you guys end up doing ayahuasca?
No. I was never trying to be anything but fucking stone cold sober around bro. It was already a lot. So I was never trying to be high, never trying to be fucking, maybe a little bit of wine here and there, but it doesn't really count, does it?
Sure.
You know? Same thing around, yeah, I mean, it's just, I want to be a rock, like a solid fucking rock. Yeah.
What do you do in your life to make sure that you are that rock? Like, is it like exercise, getting sleep? Just make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, that's the hard part, you know what I mean? Like, I can like, I mean, the best example of that is like, if I'm really present, then I'm good. You know what I mean? Like if I'm actually fully present, not physically present, but like mentally present in that moment, yeah, I'll be, I guess, the best version of myself that I can. You know what I mean? Obviously, if I'm able to exercise and eat right and all that, it's great, but those things aren't imperative to like that experience for me. You know, like those kind of maybe factor into other aspects of life, but like even just the feeling of being excited about something, like truly excited about something, actually inspired about something. Oh fuck, man, it's so hard to be excited about shit. It's really hard to be inspired by stuff, you know. But like anytime I feel that, I just like need to chase that, you know, because it's like I just get out of bed quicker, I'm happier, you know, all that stuff. Yeah.
You mentioned Cardi. Can you just like, so you could talk for hours on it. I'm just
Yeah,
curious,
man.
like what?
I feel like I could write essays about bro.
Yeah, like what would that thesis be?
Okay, why do you think people love Cardi?
I think me trying to understand it from outside in, at least Magnolia is when I first heard of him. It was like, this is different. Same with Thug. I didn't get it at first.
Sure.
This is different.
Right.
But to me, it almost felt like J. Cole is saying like "love yours" in his lyrics. I feel like right pocket lettuce, left pocket relish wouldn't be something that I would tag. Like I feel like,
Yeah.
and this is my perspective, X is like the Venn diagram of like a Cole and like a Cardi or Thug.
Interesting. Okay, how about this? Why does anybody love any artist ever?
That's what we were talking about earlier. You can be he was saying you can be a mile wide.
You can be a mile wide and an inch deep, or you could be a mile deep and an inch wide. And it's like, how do you?
What does that mean?
Nope.
Like the people, you can have a song with, let's say, however many streams that, and that you could have like a moment, like Rick Roll, like Never Gonna Get, like a huge song.
Oh sure.
Or
yeah,
like,
yeah,
or
yeah.
Even Designer, like a moment.
Right. Yeah. To me, that's different. Like
That's a
you
mile
can,
wide.
Well, look, you can love a song and you can love an artist.
Right.
Yeah.
That is maybe how I would like look at that, where it's like people loved Panda. There was a lot about it that was different and fun and everything, but nobody ever, in my opinion, like got into loving Designer.
That's
I
why
don't know.
people love Taylor Swift, because she's real.
Yeah, she got
She's
both,
truthful.
man. She got both, you know. But it's fully more about loving her as an artist, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah.
So to answer your question about why does anyone like an artist,
Yeah.
is it they see themselves in them, they give them permission to be themselves, like
I think it's that. I really do. I think it's the number 2. And it doesn't necessarily need to be hinged on number 1 about you see yourself in this person, but like, look, man, like the other day, my fucking lawyer calls me and is like, hey, dude, like, you know, I don't fucking ask you this shit, but like, you know, my son, he's like 14, like, he loves Ye. Apparently it's gonna be Yeezy Day. Can you help me, like, get some Yeezys for him, you know? And I'm like, how the fuck is it that, like, 15 years ago, when I'm 14, that dude was, like, the North Star of inspiration for me, and he was my favorite artist, you know? And then 15 years later, a kid who's 14 or 15, like, also has the same connection to him.
Sure.
You think that's music? You know what I mean? No. Like, clearly not. It's like there's something about, yes, the music is the way to deliver this message, but there's something about this person that people are inspired by, right? And like, I don't know, 14, 15, even still to this day, there's this feeling of like, who am I? What, you know, how do I fit into this world? Am I really the best version of myself? Damn, I need to be better. You know, I'm a fuck up, you know, all these thoughts that like happen. And I think when you see artists just like actually being themselves, whether that comes across as different or even not, it's like, I don't think there's anything different about Drake's music, but there's something respectable about like him just being himself, you know what I mean? Obviously a lot of people like see that, you know, and they relate to that. It's kind of this comfort, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what, like, I don't quite know who the fuck I am, but like this person makes me feel like I can be myself, you know?
Yeah, that I'm not crazy. Right. And this person, and the music is the vessel
like
of that.
We can all be crazy together. You know what I mean? Like, especially just on a literal, like a producer level. It's like I remember anytime I'd get this brain that's like, oh, I gotta make shit like this. I gotta make shit like that. He would put out an album, and it would just be so very different and kind of the antithesis of that, and it'd be like a breath of fresh air. You know? It's like, oh, I actually can make weird stuff that I love, and maybe one day other people will like it, you know?
Wait, he would put out something, the antithesis of what?
It wasn't like everybody else. It wasn't like, I wasn't, you know, I mean, not to keep bringing up our boy Aubrey here, but you know what I mean? It's like, that hasn't been something I felt from an album from him in like 10 years, but like going back to fucking Take Care, it's like, yeah, that shit was very different and kind of like, at the time was a breath of fresh air because it was like, oh wow, this artist is doing something in this world. It's definitely true to them because it sounded like that, but it, at least on a literal level, it reminded, I think, people that make music that, yeah, you don't have to fit into this like hole of what's popular right now, you know? Somebody comes out with new shit, then boom, that's pop music, you know? And then fucking Morgan Wallen and Taylor Swift have the biggest year ever, and now boom, that's pop music. Right. It's like, man, it's like, you know, why is it that like my friends who have never listened to country music are like, man, I can't lie, I kind of fuck with that Morgan Wallen dude, bro, you know? It's like, yeah, there's something about him, there's some of the songs that just feels honest and real that makes people feel something, you know? Yeah.
Love all that.
True artists bring about true purpose.
Say it again?
Like, true artists bring about true purpose. It's about, like, what is even purpose? It's only about what we put to it. And it's only, like, humans kind of look somewhere else to bring about purpose to their lives, but it's really and truly like, what purpose can you do with yourself and how do you define your own purpose? And people that take charge of their own purpose teach others how to do that within themselves, and that's like what is so like identifiable about huge artists, is that they know their purpose, they know themselves, they know what they need to say, and it's like this striking of inspiration, but it's also just their creative genius, and a lot of people have that, but they just can't seem to let themselves go about
yeah
that.
Look, there's a book, the author is Eckhart Tolle, and right, but also just in general this concept of like the thinker and the feeler, you know, and like we all have both inside of us, and it's really easy and kind of this natural human thing to let the thinker win, you know. But like even as you're talking about that, it's like if I could, from like the outside in, I would probably try to analyze it the same way. And then at some point, I'm looking at this dude just fucking tweeting on the plane, and I'm like, he's not thinking about anything. You know what I mean? He's not thinking about, this is my purpose, this is what I gotta do for those kids. He's like, he's just reacting viscerally. He's like feeling something, you know? Same thing when it's like singing a song, you know? It's like if you were to think too hard about it, you're gonna quiet the feeler too much, you know what I mean? Like if the thinker is taking charge, the feeler's gonna have to take a back seat. And like some of the best things in the world, I think, are made when the feeler is the one driving it, you know? Or at least let the feeler fucking steer the ship, and then at some point maybe the thinker comes in after the original thing is there, and you're like, okay, like how do we like finish this? How do we make this a real song, you know? But I don't know, as like lofty and kind of like corny as that is, like it's a concept that's like helped me really like think about how to make shit in a true way, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you give me major Rick Rubin vibes.
Not interesting.
I was actually watching him, like an interview.
He seems fascinating. I mean, I've never really talked to the guy that much, but he's got so many bars, man. He's so barred up.
Can I play what we have real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Before you dip?
This is for her.
This one is we've completely failed the prompt for this.
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, do you like it?
That's what we were in.
This is like a totally different genre. So we try, and honestly, like, yeah, it's like dancey and everything. So yeah, but it's totally different from what I'm doing.
But you like it?
Yeah.
So we just recorded a voice memo and then I chopped it up into kind of like idea of arrangement.
You know it's your ball, what you come on to pay. You know it's your ball, my heart to pray, you come on by. Little bit your ball, my heart to pay, you want my body. Little bit your ball, my heart to pay, you want my baby. Ooh! Oh, and then you go up and down. Hello, hello, you go.
I feel like
Make something else. Like if that's y'all's answer, fuck this shit. No, I'm serious. I mean, does anybody love anything about it? Look, man, I don't know. I'm the first person in any type of session. Look, if you guys send no songs, 4 songs, once, what? Fucking, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm the first person to always be like, cool, like, should we see what else is out there in the entire fucking universe today? You know what I mean? If there's something about that's like speaking out to you, don't give a fuck about what I'm saying. Like, you could just be like, you know what? Fuck that. I love this. I want to explore this. That's way more valid than anything I could ever say about it. But if I'm like, hey, like, what do you guys like about this? Or like, do you like it? And there's kind of this like, I'm like, man, that is the best signal to try other shit. It's true.